Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many different twists and turns, as well as surprises in this film by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one great thing about J.J. Abrams is that we do know that he's finding multiple ways in order to tie this movie not just to the original trilogy, but also to the prequels, in order to truly fulfill the Skywalker saga and really make this movie go full circle, and really answer a lot of the burning questions from The Force Awakens and beyond. So a lot of things that are going on with this movie is, of course, we have a lot of cameos coming our way from the prequels and the originals that will actually be interacting with some of the sequel trilogy characters like Rey and Kylo Ren. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the set leaks, this is where things begin to get very exciting for this movie. Now, specifically, it's described that one of the scenes that are planned to be shot during reshoots include a sequence that is said to involve Harrison Ford as Han Solo. It's described to be a scene in which Harrison Ford will step in as Han into Kylo Ren's throne room for what's described to be a flashback sequence in which Kylo is sitting on his throne with the Vader helmet on the armrest by his chair, where Kylo is said to have a moment alone only to hear the distant voice of his father Han that causes him to step up and turn around, where he will face the figure of his father through a large window that looks out to blank space. It's said that Harrison Ford will be wearing the same outfit he did at the end of The Force Awakens, and will be providing new dialogue that is based around family and an apology for neglecting his own son, Kylo Ren. It's said that there is a twist with the scene that ends up being that the Force ghost of Luke Skywalker is initiating these visions of Han Solo in Kylo Ren's mind. It's unclear if Adam Driver will be back for the reshoots, or if Harrison will just be used for pickups on his end. However, it's described that these scenes were added into the script during the rewrites that took place in December. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about all of this. Now, to me, this really speaks volumes by JJ, because we do know that one of the big complaints by a lot of fans for The Force Awakens was that, well, we didn't really get that familiarity between both Kylo Ren and Han Solo in The Force Awakens, right? We got that little confrontation between both Han and Ben on the catwalk in Starkiller Base just before Han Solo's death. And to me, I think that the scene would have been a whole lot more emotional if we had a scene or two of both Ben/Kylo and Han Solo beforehand. So in my eyes, in my point of view, this is, of course, J.J. Abrams' way of attempting to really boost the familiarity between both Kylo Ren and Han Solo. Now, there's no word about Adam Driver portraying Kylo Ren in a way where he's expressing anger, or if he's acting in a very angry way toward these visions. However, that really does signal that Kylo Ren is going through a lot of remorse, a lot of, I guess if you could say, regret, ever since killing his own father. So the one piece that I do want to go over about Harrison Ford, this is actually all set to take place during reshoots, which, by the way, began just a couple of weeks ago at the very end of April, in case you guys did not know. It's going to stretch all the way out until the end of June, and maybe even beyond that, if they need additional sequences or need to modify some of the existing scenes, for all we know. Now, anything can really happen with this particular scene, and it really does make one wonder, what does this really mean for Ben Solo? Could this very well be a hint towards Rendemption, as I like to call it? Now, what's really great about this particular sequence is that we do know that this is really going to give us a scene in which we do get to see both Ben Solo and Han Solo together in a single sequence on the big screen once again. Like I say, without a doubt, this is JJ's way of boosting the familiarity between these two characters, not just for the characters, but for the audience as well. Now, the twist here, and this is the big twist, we actually just went over this, is that these visions of Han Solo are initiated by the Force ghost of Luke Skywalker in Kylo Ren's mind. So, to me, yes, we do know that the new villain is going to be used as a way in order to somewhat bring in that Rendemption, right, the Kylo Ren redemption arc. But in my point of view, these are the seeds that are being placed in order to make the Kylo Ren redemption grow. Definitely does line directly up with the parallel of, Emperor Palpatine and Supreme Leader Snoke. Now Kylo has his own throne, where he begins to hear the distant voices of his own father in the distance, where he turns around and sees his own father Han Solo through a window that looks out to blank space. So we haven't seen something like this in the Star Wars movies as of yet, where we do get to see a vision of somebody else in a window where one of the villains is actually looking out into the space. So I think that what's really interesting about this is that, like I say, this gives us another chance in order to see Han Solo once again in the flesh. Even though he's in the form of a vision, we actually do get to see these two characters looking at each other in a single scene, which is going to be very interesting to see exactly how J.J. Abrams performs this. Now, the other piece that I do want to go over is that we also know that Harrison Ford is actually back for this movie. He's actually going to be a part of a lot of the reshoots for Episode 9. He's actually said to do a lot of these scenes at the very end of May, leading into the month of June. And I think that's where, you know, it really does speak volumes by JJ. He's really trying to piece things back together here. You know, he's bringing back the Skywalker lightsaber. He's bringing back Kylo Ren's helmet. He's doing something very special for Luke Skywalker in this movie. And now Han Solo, of all people, is back in Episode 9. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.